Peach here, bringing you highlights from the One Main Financial 200 of the JEX 200 from Dover International Speedway. It's the first round kickoff of the playoffs for the Pokemon X and Truck Series. Both series have 18 drivers that will be competing for the championship. Both series will be down to 8 drivers at the end of the first round of 3 races in the playoffs. And it all begins here at the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. As we kick things off with the truck race, the JEX 200, David Vigneault Jr. starts on the pole. As always, all the playoff drivers start on the top rows in order to give them more competition, and for them to it would be easier for them to duke it out and battle for the win to advance to the next round. Basically, I thought it would be more exciting. Anyway, Sharona Evans goes down for the race lead in the first lap of the race, and she'll get there from David Vigneault Jr. Oh no, Annabeth Ferris gets her loose, and Sharona Evans goes around, and she makes contact with Kenny Johnson, and she spins. And that's what the playoffs is all about, man. One more look at the wreck, and Sharona Evans spun out of the race lead. 2 more trucks spun as well. But they're just going to, that's just how the playoffs are. They're just going to get aggressive. They're going to do anything they can to gain every point possible for them to ensure that they make it to the next round. So you can't really blame Annabeth Ferris for that, as she was just trying to be aggressive. She was just trying to make the playoffs, but it's a shame that she had to take out another playoff driver to do it. Anyway, she's back in second place right now, as we have a new leader, Anthony DeLello, in the 16. Luis Hernandez in the number 2 car, also battling for the second position, but he won't get enough room, and Annabeth Ferris was able to clear him for the second spot. Moments later, though, Ryan Pritchard decides to make a pass on the 98 of Ryan Rickshaw in his old ride, by the way. Pritchard returning to the trucks for this one race, due along with Alicia Russell, who's driving the 27 today. 2 of those are 4 drivers from the X Series, all competing here today at Dover for their one race deals. Anyway, Morgan McPherson goes down low for the race lead with just 2 laps to go. And I mean 3 laps to go, but McPherson clears by DeLello for the lead. Here comes Annabeth Ferris, though, as she tries to make a move on the bottom lane, but she can't quite get there. And look at the aggressive move by the 16. He's trying to close in on that 21 truck with just 2 laps to go now. And there's lap traffic ahead as well. We'll see how this one will go down. Here comes DeLello trying to retake the lead with a lap car coming in front of them. DeLello trying to clear him on the bottom lane, as it looks like Steve Larker's the one that's being lapped. And the white flag will be in the air with 1 lap to go. There you see McPherson try to bump out the 16, but he gets held up by the 15, and that might be enough for DeLello to pull away. Arena McShane moved up to second place, and now coming off the final corner, she's battling with Annabeth Ferris for second. But Anthony DeLello is going to win at Dover to lock himself into round 2 of the Pokemon Truck Series playoffs. What a great way to start off the playoffs here for the trucks. It was a crazy and wild race at Dover, and in the end, Anthony DeLello took home the win to lock himself into round 2. Ryan Pritchard with a great run in his return to the Truck Series with a great top 10 finish. And Zachary DeLello actually is the other one of the Cup drivers. The X drivers, along with Andrew Johnson. There were the 2 other X drivers competing in this one race deal at Dover. But he finished in last place while his brother got the win. How weird is that? Anthony DeLello won the race, and his brother Zachary DeLello finished in last place. You don't see that very often, to have 2 brothers on the opposite ends of the spectrum after a race. But anyway, it was DeLello's second win of the season, and that ensures him into the next round of the playoffs. And now the X Series playoffs begins here at Dover, as Jay Jefferson of the 36 starts on the pole for the race. There you see the battle for second here between Ben Goldman and Tony Green. It looks like Green's going to get the edge on the bottom lane, and he'll get to second place. And now Aiden Vernetti is going to try to follow the line, as he's trying to get third from the 19 of Goldman. And right now, Jay Jefferson, he has pulled away dramatically. Already pulled away to a big lead so far. But it's only the beginning, though, as Vernetti just took third place. And now he's facing a 3-wide battle with Isaiah Ayers and Nick Salmon. And it looks like Ayers is going to get the third spot after all from the number 9 car. And now Nick Salmon follows suit, and he takes fourth position away. And moments later, we got our first caution of the race. Joey Trickle spun out by Alex Hawkins, as these were other playoff drivers in the field. And both were very aggressive, and expect to see a lot of drivers being very aggressive, especially if they're playoff drivers in these final races of the season. Anyway, there's Nick Salmon of 35 trying to move up to a top 3 spot, and he will do just that against Tony Green. And Green will drop to 4th place as Ayers has moved up to the 2nd spot. There's Luis Hernandez in the 42, one of the 4 truck drivers in this one race deal in the X Series. Here's another one. Monica Just is driving the 98 for the race today, as she's trying to battle it out with the one of Austin Stitzel. There's Andrew Johnson in the number 12 car moving up to the top 10 right here. Not a lot of action in front, but there you see Monica Just trying to prove herself worthy of an X Series ride potentially. Maybe she might be an X Series driver next season. Same for Luis Hernandez, because they've won truck races this season. Luis, though, has won 2. So he's trying to prove himself worthy to probably be promoted to the X Series, or maybe we could even see him in the Cup Series next season. He might just try to pass the X Series and go right to the Cup Series with his performances at the truck so far. And now he's up to 3rd place right now here at Dover, and now he'll try to catch up to the leaders. There's Monica Just as well. She's also trying to make it to turn this one race deal into a top 5 finish. And she's going to get by Ayers in the 16. Salmon just took 2nd, in case you guys didn't notice. And now she'll have to catch up to Tony Green if she wants to get a top 5 finish here. 10 laps to go. There's Logan Bradley, another playoff driver, looking low against Ayers. And Ayers goes up in the wall, and that allows Bradley to clear her. 2 laps to go, though. Lap traffic ahead. That is Annabeth Ferris in the 21. I mentioned earlier that Annabeth Ferris took over the 21 for the rest of the season from Leah Walker. Not off to a great start in her first ride as a X Series driver full-time, but hopefully she will get a lot better as the season goes on. Or maybe even if she'll probably try to make it next season, if she decides to compete next season. White flag in the air, though, with 1 lap to go for Jay Jefferson. He just dominated this entire race. He led every single lap. And this will be his 2nd win of the season if he can hang on. He won earlier at Memphis. Out of the final corner, Jay Jefferson's going to do it. He's going to win here, the one main 200 at Dover, in dominating fashion. And Nick Salmon, his fellow teammate, actually, finished in 2nd. So 1-2 finish for that team. And hope you enjoyed this weekend. We just kicked off the playoffs. And congrats to Jay Jefferson on moving on to round 2 of the Pokemon X Series playoffs. We'll see you guys next weekend at Texas. And, of course, the cup for the 2nd round Cup Series playoffs begins at Dover. And you don't want to miss that. So we'll see you guys there.